What's going on, everybody? So, MCO happened today. It's Saturday, but it got trashed out, so I'm not going to really be able to make a good long-form video because they don't even know they're going to have a round tomorrow, so that's really putting a damper on all my content. But since we're here, we're actually selling a bunch of discs to Jeremiah over here at Russell Disc Golf.
What's up?
Look at all of them.
So many
That's
frisbees.
all the discs I'm selling to him. Your boy has way too many frisbees. I'm pretty sure it's probably close to 300. And I still have discs left. He was sad that I didn't give him all the discs.
Kept all the good ones.
I didn't keep all the good ones. I kept all the perfect ones for me. Very specific. And then we got old Gibbs over here from Courtesy Violation. Look at him.
Sup?
Well, he is very happy. He's been fighting his pollen allergies. If you ask me, pollen's fake. He's a soft boy. But here we are. We're doing this, so I figured we'll just chit-chat, hang out, while he's looking through my disc, gives us something to do, and maybe it'll make a pretty good video. We'll see. I also look terrible sitting down. I look like a big old piece of goo. So that's sick.
That's funny.
Well, yeah, I only look good standing up because I'm 6'4". And then when you compress it all into 5 feet, it's not great.
Did y'all know Casey White shot a 1074 today?
No. I
No.
didn't even
12 down
12 down?
in that weather today.
What time
What
is
down
it
is he
raining?
now?
He was a little earlier, so
Okay.
he didn't catch the.
He didn't catch the tornadoes.
But still, dude.
But it was still pretty windy all day.
Yeah.
Not crazy.
1074. That's good.
Hot.
So here you go, folks. Y'all are getting a live reaction of how we ingested content, actually being at the event, and the storm still raging outside. Who knows if we're still going to be here tomorrow. So if y'all find this, Bear Bite says RIP, God bless. And remember, Courtesy Violation, top podcast.
Best in the business, dude. Check this out, though. Matty O is shooting 10 down, too.
There you-
What did he shoot on
16.
Monday? Through 16? That's great.
He was even on Friday. Shot 10 down today.
What's
So-
Casey at overall?
Okay, you what? I just 12 down.
Oh, he
so
was
shot
even. He was even going into it.
Yeah.
So they're both even on Monday, and they come out
Mhm.
today. They said we got a little heat in our sleeves. You love to see it when somebody comes from nowhere and just like shits all over the course after they had a bad day.
Yeah.
Dude, that's some balling in that weather today. That is balling. 10 and 12, that's nuts.
Our boy had a good round today
And
too.
Matty O has 2 more holes to play. He can
Talking
end,
about
he can
Brandon
end up
Brown?
being.
Brandon Brown, baby.
Brandon Brown, shout out to him. He's not super new. He's been going for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I
He's a
thought so.
family man. You know,
Oh.
so he don't
don't
get
get
to
to-
play.
he
He don't get to play a ton. So
He don't get to
he makes it.
gallivant with the children like everybody else does.
Yeah.
He's got like a wife and
He's
children,
got
or he's just
wife, children, and a legit job.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, Brandon, shout out to you. I didn't know any of that. So when I talk to you, I'm going to put a little more respect behind your name. And also, I'm going to tell all the people to put a little more respect behind your name. Also, I have one of your Frisbees because of Russell Disc Golf. So the feedback's going to be making some content. So, Brandon Brown, you're about to be the most famous disc golfer there is.
Love it.
Casey White and Matty O both shot even round 1.
Dang. Coming out with the heaters. Where's that put them? Where are they ranked at? Because I'm assuming.
Casey's tied to the lead.
Time for the lead.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, Wasaki's only through 9,
Oh.
so he still has 2 rounds to go.
What I saw you
And
shoot the first
Austin
round.
Turner's 11 down. He's only through 9. I mean, there's still a lot of
Okay.
round 2 to be played. But
That's true. So they're gonna
Lead
have to-
card was only through 9 holes.
yeah.
And they're gonna have to play like crazy early, right?
8 o'clock.
Oh.
It
Yeah.
ain't happening,
Crazy.
Captain.
Shotgun start.
Shotgun start.
Shotgun start.
That's
Well,
incredible.
Hey, they were marking. No shit. This is funny. I'll tell the camera. We were on hole 9 with the lead card, and
Oh, they were just marking their disc in the fairway. Sorry, I
But
didn't mean to cut your story off.
Gannon's disc was in like a little creek. It was casual.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. They're on hole 10. They finished hole 9. No, I'm stupid. The lead card was on 9. Gannon's card. It was Gannon and Babcock and Aiden Scott and somebody else. Maybe Sully. I think they were on, 9, 10, 11, 12, like 13. But anyway, they were marking because they had to stop. The horn blew, so they had to mark their lies, and they marked it they were sticking sticks in the ground.
To mark the disc.
They marked I didn't know. Like, I've been around disc golf for a long time. I have a podcast about disc golf, and I've had a 3 blast where I had to stop. We always left minis. They weren't leaving minis. They stuck sticks in the ground.
Yeah, because they knew the minis was going to get.
Well, especially Gainon's. Gainon's was like on the creek, like not in the creek, but like on the edge of the creek.
Yeah.
So there was no way it was going to stay. You know what I mean?
Like, solid method. I don't know if it might be legal.
Yeah.
We'll have to look in a rule book.
Yeah, that's
Look,
what.
It is supposed to be circular, you know.
Yeah, the sticks were circular.
It was a pretty big. He just picked up a log.
Yeah,
a
log. Slam it. Let's go.
That's something we need to know, because we're out here giving the people information they don't have, because they're sitting there, rounds canceled, and they're like, it can't be that bad. Let me tell you,
it was not right.
When we started to leave, the wind started picking up to an aggressive amount where we were just like, what?
Yeah.
What's happening? And then Joey Tamale runs by us and said, y'all need to get out of here. There's an active tornado coming.
Yeah. He's like, y'all got like 15 minutes to get out of here.
Yeah, it's just good content, Sauce.
No, you got to cut that.
Oh, that's stay it is,
No,
baby.
you gotta cut
Stay it is. Also, shout out to First Form. I got my first package from them literally right before I left out of my house. We opened it up, busted open some stuff. Actually, brought some with me.
Look, I'm getting a little tummy time.
We got this right here. This right here is the Power Pro Gibbs. If you weren't full, I'd tell you to try it. It's delicious.
It's probably got nuts in it. I can't.
No, they ain't got nuts in it.
I'm nut free, dude.
They ain't got no nuts in it. I got
I got a nut allergy.
I got diverticulosis. Oh, if you got a nut allergy, now we got problems. They got peanut butter in it.
Nah.
I
do too. I do too. So these really don't have nuts in them?
No.
This is what I need then. Because I can't eat nuts. That's the reason I can't have them either.
Well, that's for you then.
That's what the people's here for.
Frisbee related. If you hear any random frisbee plops, that's Jeremiah. Don't worry about those.
Heartbeats over here.
He's got heartbeats going. What are you doing, dog? You got a sneeze?
I think so.
No, he just did the heartbeat on that disc.
So many heartbeats.
Yeah, that's trippy. Okay, breaking news. Cole Rhode Island's hurt.
He's hurt?
Yeah, this injury has tested him more than anything else in this life. Thankful for the journey of more appreciation and gratitude. Your value who you are, not what you do. Getting back to 100% will be a process. Playing live tournament play has been extremely inconsistent. It's difficult not doing anything you love without feeling pain. Man, he's young, man.
Young.
Is this the same injury, not re-injured? He's just the same
I
injury?
don't know.
That's what it sounds like.
Probably the same injury that made him stop at DDO a couple of years ago.
Man, that sucks.
That was
Because Cole is really good.
Yes.
That's the one where he, no, you're talking about when he threw the shot and then left and said, I'm DNFing.
Yeah.
Look
at all
that,
these.
folks. We got a lot of frisbees. We got a whole box over there. These have all been sorted through. He's about to start doing maths to tell us what we're doing.
Nah,
He's
ain't
got the
mad.
Tennessee education, so you gotta watch him with the numbers. They get a little tricky. Bear Bite Disc and Russell Disc Golf have partnered together now.
At merch.
What's going on, everybody? It is Sunday. MCO is officially over. We had a blast. Now we have a whole new person to talk with. We got Nathan. Tell him your last name.
Sajkowicz, if you dare to pronounce it.
There we go. This man is an internet sensation. If you like disc golf videos, you got to go check out Nathan. He's literally taken over the world. I'm pretty sure his name's Nathan SJK. Maybe. Is that right?
No, but close enough.
I'm dyslexic, so abbreviations don't do it. All right. So tell the people. So Nathan here has a whole different situation going on than me and Gibbs. Gibbs was just going to watch everybody and kind of hang out and have a good time. Nathan works with Another Round, so he's going out there filming, doing all kinds of videos and stuff like that. He's going out and making content with everybody, trying to get everybody covered, especially Austin Turner. Let the people know how your days were, what you went through.
Dude.
You can recap the whole weekend, just today, whatever you want to do.
So this is my first time in Nashville, and of course it was because of MCO, but also Another Round opened another location, cleverly named Another Round Nashville. And you never really know what to expect. You kind of see these, we do announcement videos ahead of time when we figure out that we're going to get a new franchise. But then you don't really feel the magic until you get to these new places. And stepping into Another Round Nashville, automatically, the place is insane.
It's a big vibe place for sure. I spent a lot of time there because the weather was so trash. Today I spent a lot of time there just because Nathan was out there fighting the course, which I feel sorry about that. On the other hand, most of my stuff is just making videos like this and talking to pros. This is a very particular circumstance where I didn't really have that option. So because everybody's having a bad time, especially if you're playing, like most people watching, not having a bad time. People playing, so to make interviews with them, not great because they're now either just had a bad round or they've had a great round and they've just been in the absolute garbage. So I was in a very good mood because I was just hanging out at Another Round Nashville, having a good time 90% of my day. But yeah, let the people know. The vibes at Nashville were immaculate.
Yeah, it was unreal. For anyone that follows Another Round, I'm sure you saw. We had Adam Hammis there. We had AB there. We had the boy, a.k.a. Austin Turner. Zach Nash was there. So it's just a really good vibe overall. Once you have like all those pros there, people hiding out because there was a tornado warning.
We had a shelter-in-place order. So everybody had to be wherever they were, and most of us were at a disc golf course. So it's not great to shelter in place in a wide open field to be murdered by a tornado.
Yeah, it would not be recommended.
So they were literally shooing us away from the disc golf course, telling us to get lost because they were like, if you're going to die, just don't do it here. So we left. Most people seeked something.
You got it.
Seeked refuge at Another Round Nashville. I did not. I was like, man, I don't know if I want to be in a place that's 90% windows and frisbees if there's a tornado. So I drove literally through the parking lot when everybody was going there, and I was just like, the wind's kind of doing crazy stuff. I'll go to my hotel. I had to ask AI, I was like, how likely am I to die at a hotel? And it said most hotels are made with reinforced concrete. So I'm assuming that means they put rebar and stuff inside the concrete to keep it strong and sturdy. It just said stay away from windows because things can still penetrate through them. So I was like, sick. I'll go to my hotel. And then I come here, take a shower, and then I find out my other buddies that are staying in a room below us is they were going right back to Another Round. So I was like, well, sick. The really crazy stuff, because before it started raining, the wind was whipping so hard that it was like swaying cars on the road.
It was insane. I mean, I looked outside at one point and rain was just, it's not like, oh, the rain's going sideways. It's like, oh, it hit the ground, and when it's on the ground, it's like, or hitting cars, it's going sideways from there. So it was the real deal.
Did you, while you were at did the power ever go out over there?
The power flickered at one point.
Okay.
And I think the traffic lights stayed out for a little bit.
Yeah, the traffic lights stopped working. I was driving during the point where he's just kicking back, relaxing at Another Round. So
sipping on a bev. It's nice.
I drove through many a traffic lights that were not flashing. I'm assuming people around here have never seen that. In the South, after it gets so late, the lights don't work anymore. They just flash. And then the main street gets a yellow flashing light. It means you get to go, but be cautious because the other sides could be pulling out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm used to it. I knew what was happening. Nashville did not know what was happening. They were getting real scared. They see a yellow light. They were stopping in the road. And I was like, no, this is not how this works. We keep going. Those people over there, all those people stop. We move. So I about seen multiple people die. So many squealing tires. I was sitting in the vendor village And this isn't even when the tornado's happening. But people kept trying to hit people on the road outside of the vendor village.
Yeah, Nashville, surprisingly, a lot of traffic. And it doesn't feel like it's similar to Charlotte in the way that it's a major city that doesn't feel like a major city. But everything is more spread out than Charlotte is. But there's more traffic. I don't know how that works. Like a place that will be 5 miles away, you'll look it up and you're like, that's a half hour. How does that make sense?
So, I don't know. He's also from Connecticut. I don't really know how that works. I don't know what their setup's like. I also don't think Connecticut's that big of a state either. So,
No.
I do know in Alabama, when I live here and I live there and I lived all the different places I've lived now, you get to go a lot further in a lot faster time because most things are spread out and there's a lot more room to move around. But when I lived in Florida, on the other hand, everything's compact and everybody's trying to go to the same place, so it takes forever to get anywhere. So the distance to time ratio really throws you off. Here, everything moves pretty quick. I don't think you get stuck up too much. People don't really know how to drive here, I don't think. It's a common problem that I see most places. My favorite place to drive is probably Florida on the interstate because everybody that drives there, probably lunatics because everybody's going 100 miles an hour minimum. So everybody's moving. So if somebody cuts you off, they're flying away.
Yeah,
Now,
that's also because in Florida, every single thing is like 17 lanes of traffic at once.
you got what you got. Now let's get back to the tournament. What was your favorite part of following the cards today? And then what was your least favorite part?
Well, I guess today, favorite part was just being able to, as I've been doing these referring to, I think this is like my fourth tournament now, following along for another round and recording. I always learn something after I get home and I'm like, boy, I wish I did X, Y, and Z. Maybe just little artsy things that I notice where it's like panning shots that lead into other shots. So I think messing around with that creative part of it is probably my favorite part. And of course, like supporting Austin, who was shredding out there, which is cool to see. I mean, least favorite, I mean, it's a soup fest out there.
Oh.
And that's putting it lightly.
It kept getting more and more aggressive on the final day. All the other days, it was still swampy and goopy and what have you. But it wasn't terrible. But when we came back out on Sunday, it might have been the most aggressive, especially. So I came out in the morning time and came out to the course and I was hanging out, walked around, watched some people tee off and what have you. And it was pretty bad. And then I leave and then I come back and like the MPO's now fully in swing and they're going. And I'm just like every part of everything, the vendor village, the course, every part of it is just caked in mud. Everything's slippery. And this is a thing that y'all probably didn't see, but accordingly, Chris Dickerson he slipped hard and went full flat back on the ground on hole 14.
This weekend?
Yeah.
I didn't even hear about this.
Today, it happened today. And it sounded aggressive. They said he popped back up, and I was like, as soon as I heard this, I was like, the worst part about this is that he's not done. He is now covered in the sludgiest mud possible, and he's got to play at least, 5.5 more, 4 holes completely, and he's got to finish the one he's currently on. So
yeah, if anyone that's watching this isn't from the South, Southern mud feels like a completely different thing than up north where I'm from, like in Connecticut. So I was in Dallas like a month ago. That is just like clay. This is just like sticky mud that just stays on your feet. So it's like, oh, it's not even a big deal, bro. Who cares? It's the real deal for sure.
Yeah, it definitely really sticks to your everything. If it gets on you, it's going to stay on you until you get a good rinsing. And it's a problem. And some people probably have played in the mud and inclement weather plenty of times, so they didn't really have troubles. Austin himself was doing pretty great the whole weekend. He didn't have a lot of struggles. Also, something Nathan didn't talk about was Adam Hammis threw a 547-foot ace on the tech disc at another round Nashville, and it was insane. And it was also the perfect time to do it because it was when everybody was there for the tornado delay. And so there's probably like 100 people in this place, and now everybody's just watching professionals throw a tech disc, which you don't get to see a ton of, but now everybody's together and a man throws an ace. Let the people know how it felt. What was the environment? How were the people feeling? What was going on?
It was utterly bananas when that happened. So I think they were all at first. So all these pros were in there messing around. They're like, I'm gonna do lefty sidearms. You know, like they're almost all of them are righty. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna do this weird shot so you can throw it faster, farther. And then of course it starts ramping up where it's like, no, bro, like let's see how fast I can throw. And Zachary Nash was in there. And for those that don't know, his spin rate is, I think, like the record spin rate right now or something like that.
I did not know
like
this.
Over 1,800 RPM or something
Okay,
insane.
I've never seen that. Like the fastest I've ever seen is like, I think 17. And I was also by a child, Brogley, at another round Nashville. That is not on the Pro Tour. He was just caddying for one of the pros. He was throwing 72 miles an hour and he had a 1,700 RPM spin rate. And I was just like, nobody really, the people I was with were not from here. So either he was from here or he came in for the tournament. But either way, sounds like a 17-year-old child will be playing on the Pro Tour soon if he has any kind of control of the power.
Yeah, it was pretty insane. So pretty much that attempt was Adam trying to be like, I don't even understand, Zach, how you get that high of spin rate, and him ripping it and then proceeding to ace a 546-foot long hole. But like the shot that Zach was throwing, to go back on that quickly,
Yeah.
they were going, I think it was like 654 feet or something disgusting. Throw sidearm. He still was getting them out to like 575 or something.
So
unreal.
how fast was he throwing and getting those RPMs?
So that's what's crazy, because he was throwing like 78 or something, 77 miles per hour, which is like obviously still insane.
Yeah.
But other people can do that. It's really his spin rate that just like allows the disc to glide, and you're like, oh, it's going to fade now. No, it's going to fade now. And it just never does. It just keeps going.
Yeah, that's incredible. What was AB was there, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he was ripping.
What his, like, I know he's hitting the tops of speed wise anyways for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What was he throwing on the tech disc?
Just for like speed?
Yeah.
He just like stepped right up because this random dude was just like, AB, I challenge you to like let's do a throw off, and obviously AB won. Spoiler alert! But 80 miles an hour, just right off the gate, just no shoes, just steps right on.
Barefooting it. That's what we
barefoot 80 miles per hour. I was behind the net, so I got a sweet video of AB just chucking one at my face.
I bet that was terrifying.
It was.
Good God. Yeah, that's incredible. 80 miles an hour barefoot. So I went back over there that night, and I was just wearing like some Birkenstocks, so I was like, I got to go barefoot. And I was barefooting it at like 60, which is good. It's not like pro good, but it's good for like a normal person, like above average on distance-wise and stuff. Like I'm not throwing incredible, but I can hit like 400 pretty consistent. But yeah, 80 miles an hour barefoot is like, I don't know if anybody else can do that.
It's dumb. I mean, it's really impressive to watch, and that's why there was an entire crowd watching these people do this.
I also got to do a little bet on the tech disc. So I have a disc. It's called the Poison Berry. It's my new mid-range version of my 3D hybrid thumber disc, and I didn't really have any of those to sell. I just had the ones that I have in my bag. And this guy that supports me to the end of the earth, his name's Chase Wood. Shout out to Chase. He buys all my things. He was even wearing a Bear Bite shirt, so shout out to him for everything.
He's also wearing a Nathan hat.
So
shout out to Chase.
He was. He is a big fan of repping the disc golf folks, so shout out to him. He bet me. It was not like a great decision for him. He's not a tall man. He's like 5'5", I'm assuming. How tall do you think he is? He's not tall.
That's probably accurate.
Yeah.
Probably.
And I'm 6'4". So, and I already know I can throw far. I don't think he can throw far, not just based on the size, because he's told me he doesn't throw that far.
Yeah, when I got to hang out with him last night, and that's like the thing he kept reiterating over and over again. I was like, Bud, I think you're probably fine.
And then he challenged me for the disc. So we make a little soft bet of my discs for him, like an AB crystal zone with like the cool like 90s rap graffiti style Anthony Barella around it with the snake in the middle.
Yeah, that was sick.
And it looked sick, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll put this up for grabs." And then he tells me, "There's like, yeah, I was gonna get AB to sign it and stuff," and I was like, "Man, you just trying to make me feel bad for taking your frisbee." And then we go over there, and then I'm like, I'm still barefooting it, so I'm like, put me a Hades on here so I don't have to throw super hard and I can still get it to go pretty far. And I go first. I throw it. I think the first one went 320. And then I throw it again, and I get this one to go 370. So I was like, barefoot 370. I'm stoked.
Beast mode, dude.
So then I throw my next one. Had a bad throw. I turned it over into the pond. We were also throwing on hole 8 at Maple Hill. So I just threw it straight into the water. It was beautiful. It actually went through the lake and into the earth, so it was wild.
Classic rite of passage.
And then Chase steps up, and he tells him to put a crave on the tech disc. So if y'all don't know how a tech disc works, you can pick any disc numbers, and they can put it on the disc. And what I mean by this is they literally just change the way the disc is reading what you're throwing. So the way the machine projects the way it comes out, it's now using these numbers instead of like the disc they had was a Buzz and like an Undertaker, or what was that? Who knows what the other one was? It was like a fairway. And so you're not really throwing that disc, but you have the exact numbers. So the way the disc is going to look like it's flying is exactly whatever disc you tell it. But he told it to crave. And if y'all don't know, if y'all not MVP, gyronauts, whatever they're calling y'all people, a crave is a 6.5 speed frisbee. And I was just like, who is going to outdrive somebody in an outdrive? You're going for pure distance, and you're going for a 6.5 speed. A Hades is like a 12, 11 speed, and it's super flippy. I picked it because I knew I needed something super flippy because I was barefoot. And he picks a crave. And then he rips on it. And I tell him before he picks the crave, I was like, dude, we got to juice these numbers up. Please do not throw a crave. Because I want to give him the best chance he can have. He's like, I don't really throw anything faster. This is like my disc that I throw pretty far. And I was like, dog, you're just picking the wrong disc. If you let me pick disc for you, I could get you to throw real far with a fast disc, because now we live in the future. There are flippy discs that are also super fast.
Yeah.
So I let him, or I didn't let him, he just went about it. He threw the crave the first time. It went like 260 feet. And I was just like, dog.
Wait, so you said that you were playing hole 8 at Maple Hill. Were you on the gold tee, or were you on
It didn't make it past the water. He was in the wet because we were on the long tee. So it's 370 to clear.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly. It's like 360, 370, something like that.
So he throws it straight in the water on his first one. He's like, I got more in the tank. I can throw this crate. I can make it. And he's like, and then he told me that the farthest he's ever thrown a crate was 340. So we didn't have to cross over, but it was like, it looks cooler if you do.
Yeah.
So he threw the next one. Didn't even go as far. It went it went 260, so it did go a little bit further. And then he throws his third shot, and he's like now he's all up in his head because he's got to beat my 370-foot shot. And he's all up in his head. He's throwing a 6.5 speed. And now I'm in his mind because he was like, maybe I should have swapped disc. This isn't working out for me. And he throws an absolute terrible shot. It was like 200 feet. Chase, I'm sorry for putting you on blast right now, but it was your disc choice. And we've talked about it now. Everybody knows it was your disc choice. Everybody in the store said, Chase, change the disc. And then guess what we did? I told him to throw the Hades numbers back on there. You know what he did? He threw the Hades 320 feet. So we could have definitely fiddled with the disc a little bit more, and we could have got him to probably outthrow me. But it was also my disc. I don't want him to take it after we said the bet was we each get 3 throws, the best of the third. And then, obviously, I'm a good person. I didn't take his Frisbee. It's bad. Like, he came out here and was just like,
He was ready.
Crave is going to do it. And I was like, dog, it's not. I don't want to just steal your Frisbee at this point. So I let him keep his Frisbee. He was very upset about it. He literally sent me messages on Instagram. He's like, dog, I'm real upset that you didn't take this disc. And I'm like, dude, you made a terrible decision. And I'm just letting you be, abolished, cleansed. There we go. You were just being cleansed of your sins that you're trying to put out in the world.
So good.
So now tell us something from your day that most people wouldn't know just from being existing in the world. What was something that was happening on the course that they won't know because they were just watching coverage? They won't know. Let them give them a little inside picture.
Ooh, what do I want to actually reveal regarding stuff like that? I think it's the little things that you can like hear players say while you're up that close. And it's things that I can't repeat. And sometimes I think our favorite players and like top pros, we put them on a pedestal, and I'm not saying that they're not deserving of that, but you become very aware. You're like, oh, they're just people too, because they're out there just under their breath muttering unpleasantries. But
Yeah,
it made me chuckle. I won't say who specifically, but it was a good time.
They were just like every person when they throw a terrible shot that screams a good old F-bomb into the sky, or maybe a oh, dang, if you're a non-curse word person.
Well, but I would just, before I forget this, going back to Chase, because when I kind of briefly mentioned when I was talking to Chase, and he was like, I don't throw fast discs, because he was asking me what discs I throw. What are your thoughts on someone that specifically chooses to not throw over a certain speed because they feel like they shouldn't? Do you feel like there's value in someone throwing a distance driver because it helps them? It's the only way to like get better at it is just doing it, or just like doing the route that he's taking?
The route he's taking is wrong. I'm just going to go out and say that straight up. I also learned how to play disc golf in 2011 when there was one singular video on the internet that told you how to throw. I didn't watch it, but it existed. And I just went with what I needed to do. That's why my form looks so insane, especially my backhand form. My forehand is a hybrid thumber, so it's not me throwing a forehand. So it's whatever I want it to be. I basically created it. We will throw out Schwebe. He is the OG maker of the shot. But I modified it, and we've moved into the future. Now I can throw it too far.
With a 3D printed Frisbee.
Yeah, we're literally
now
living in the future with my shot. But why Chase is wrong is because we also still live in the future. Back in the past, discs were basically overstable or stable. Not a lot of people don't refer to it that way anymore, but stable means it's straight, but it still is going to fade off to the left. Now, understable disc did not really exist. If you wanted an understable disc, you had a mid-range that you were throwing harder to make it turn over. They didn't have what we have now. Now we live in the future. They have every disc you could ever want. They have literally the flippiest disc that exists in the world. They got an F9 at Prodigy, literally made for Kel LaVisca's
mom, I believe.
I might have said his last name wrong, but Kel LaVisca. There we go. That's right. I put a G in the first time I said it. His mom. It's literally made for his mom, and so there's not a person that they don't make a Frisbee for specifically. Now this does come with a double-edged sword. If you only throw those discs, it will only teach you how, like, you'll feel like you hit your ceiling too fast. So you do have to taper yourself into that world. You don't want to go straight into an F9 and then just like, oh, I'm huge. I'm throwing bombs with this. And then you don't ever really learn how to really throw a disc super hard and get that pure just muscle power. Because that's also a great skill. That's the only way I learned how to throw a disc, though. Because like everybody, when they start playing disc golf, more speed, more better. And
oh yeah, buy that Blizzard Boss, baby. Send it.
When I started playing, they didn't really have 13 speeds. They didn't exist. And then I seen that they came out with a Champion Ape. I've only been playing for 6 months.
You're the only person that's played with a Champion Ape.
Champion Ape, oh man, that's a 13 speed. Dog, I'm going to be able to throw this 100 miles. I grab it, and then I go out to the course, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be insane.
And then you've never felt like such a tiny baby boy in your entire life.
But with the benefit of getting that disc and being who I am and being very determined about things, I just ripped it that first throw, and it just goes so hard left. And I was just like, okay, I can work with that. Hard left means I know what it's going to do every time. And because I only had that disc that was super fast, I learned how to throw unnaturally hard. A lot harder than you would ever really need to throw to be good at disc golf. But it's why I can throw pretty good and pretty far. How about yourself, Nathan? What got you into a faster speed of disc? What disc was your first one that you're like, oh, this is so fast, I need that?
I'm trying to think what my actual first super fast disc was. It probably was a destroyer, just because that's like the typical go-to. Of course, that's what you're going to do. Just abuse your arm to the utmost degree when you can't throw it. God, just like, I recall I was like, oh, I definitely can't throw these. So I learned how to throw on Anheuser. And that was just like my go-to angles, like flat to Anheuser. And then somewhere along the line, I was like, I'm just going to change everything. I like completely changed my form. And now I'm like, I can pretty much do any angle now, but I wouldn't recommend completely changing your form. Everyone's different, I suppose. It's all about like what you want out of disc golf, right? I mean, if you're just there to like go have fun with your friends and mess around, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just do whatever works and just roast your buddies. I just wanted to, I don't know. I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I just want to see how good I could do it, because I've never really had like a cool athletic thing that I really got into. Like I would do team sports, was never into it.
So I also talked to Nathan quite a bit tonight, and we got to know each other. He knows a lot about me. I know a good bit about him. And he is a very creative person. So he didn't have that, we're going to go out here and bust some heads in football. And he was probably a soccer guy anyways.
I played football, I played soccer, I played baseball. I did all the things. I just never...
He wasn't the superstars, what he's telling us.
Yeah, well, true. I guess if I was good at it automatically, I would have still like stuck with it, right? But I was always more so the like, oh, I like to draw. I like to record music. I like to, like all the artsy, lame things, I guess.
I wouldn't say they're lame. I'm also good at most of these things. So, and your boy is also good at most sports. Let's not get it over here. You can be creative and good at sports. Most people aren't. Most people aren't either or. But in Nathan's area, he found disc golf, and it was his way of being creative and being good at a sport, and he just wanted to be the best at a sport. And
that's something that's so funny, is getting into this sport and explaining to people that I'm sure there is a level of like competitive nature in me, otherwise I wouldn't want to get better, but I'm not naturally like a competitive person. So when I tell people, I'm like, I just have fun like playing, and they're like, but why are you getting better if you're not competing? It's like people can't understand that you just want to get better at something just because it's like fun.
It's self-gratification is why you want to get better. It's because it makes you feel good now that you can do something that you couldn't do previously.
Yeah, exactly. And just see like, how far can I take it? And it helps you better enjoy the thing. I mean, let's be honest. If you're getting into a hobby, you don't want to be bad at it. Yeah. Like you want to be good at it. Like, of course you will be bad. Like that's all part of the process, and you can't expect to always be good, but
you want to have some fruits of your labor.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite things to do when I was in college was go to the intramural fields and just throw with all these rogue people doing whatever random things they were. And I was 100% the only person ripping absolute piss missiles with Frisbees. And I'm a guy that looks insane when I'm doing it because I can throw pretty far and I'm a big man. At that time, I was a little bit daintier boy. I weighed 250. I'm also 6'4", like I said earlier. And 250, 6'4" is pretty small. Like, especially for me, I was like anorexic boy almost. It felt like my bones were hollow. But I was still a big man, and I was just smoking these out into the field. Most of the people weren't on the field. I was like aiming at them. I was like moving targets. Let's see what we can hit. But they were running around. They would stop and be like, "That's crazy," and that's what made me. I would go out to the field and practice all the time just because I was like, "Oh, this is cool. Show the people.
Yeah,
show the people."
You feel like a circus act at that point because people will be like, "Oh my gosh, you throw like a mile," and you're like, "You have no idea."
And then you're like, in your head, you're just like, "Man, there's guys that can outthrow me so far and so easy. It's ridiculous."
Have you ever had experiences where people come up to you and they like want to learn?
Absolutely. So people ask me to teach them how to be disc golfers, and every single time I'm like, "Dog, you don't want to learn from me." I like everything about how I throw disc is made from perfectly curating specifically for who I am. And now this is a thing I do have, is that people who learn how to play disc golf learn so rigid now. It's very square. Everybody tells you the same information and they put it all in this one space, and nobody says that you can have freedom to move outside of the box. They keep everybody you got to throw straight across. You got to make sure your pullback's not too far, but it's got to be nice and far, but not too far now. And then they give you all these rules and all these things, but they don't tell you that you can have freedom to do what your body tells you. That's my whole throw. If you watch me, it is erratic, but it's smooth. And it's exactly what my body wants to do for a throw. Now, I tell people, go watch the people and let them tell you all the things about how to actually throw right, which will help you a lot. But after you learn that skill, don't focus on trying to be a robot. Unless you, like, I'm assuming Paul McBeth, when he was learning how to play, he just plugged a USB drive into the side of his head and just downloaded, this is what exactly your form needs to be, and then just went out there and did it. You're not a robot. If you like, so a lot of people, when they start playing disc golf, they're just like, I could go pro in this after they get their first shot over 300 feet.
Yeah, like when you're just chucking it for the first time, you're like, this game sucks, this game sucks, this game sucks. And then you get one to like go straight and fly, and you're like, yo, I just did that? You're like, I need to do that again. And that's just a perpetual cycle that is disc golf, where you're like, I threw a good shot, I need to recreate that. And then you're like, bad shot. And then you're like, hold on, that shot was sick, I need to do that again.
See? That is all disc golf is. So basically, when it comes to teaching people, I will not do it. I will give them guidance on like things and rules that will make them throw a lot further. Because a lot of people in disc golf now, a common problem is they don't hold on to the disc hard enough. And that's the sole reason you can't throw far. You hold on to the disc nice and tight, and then that disc, when it comes out of your hand, it doesn't have to make the snap sound, but it's going to snap out of your fingers. And that's popping out of your fingers motion is what creates all the spin and all the torque, especially for regular humans like us. If you're actually pro ability, they start getting into crazy modified fan grips and stuff, and that's where they're putting like specific fingers on the disc. They can do that. They are genetically modified monsters that can throw outrageously far, so they have to start doing these side pony tricks to cut power off of it. We ain't got that.
Nah.
Neither one of us have that juice. So, since we're regular people, we're telling you, hold on to the disc harder. It will go a lot farther. Problem, you will grip lock it more. But, as you move into the future of this and you learn the disc is going to come out a little bit later now, you will change your aim point and you will be better. So, that's my only big tip for somebody that's new, is hold on to the disc a hair bit harder. I actually hold on to it insanely hard. That's why I get a lot of speed and a lot of power on it. Nathan, how do you throw a disc? I don't know a whole lot about that specifically.
Like mechanics, or like how fast?
Like, how are you holding on to the disc?
See, I'm like, I hold on to it super light. So hearing you,
God,
hearing you say that, if anything, that just like proves your point better. Where it's like there's no individual thing. Like the box that Jesse is talking about are like things that they tell you to follow, But at the end of the day, like when people are asking for tips like how to throw far, take all those with a grain of salt and try to integrate them. But it really is, there's no easy answer, and people want an easy answer. It's just you putting in reps, figuring out, hey, that worked. Hey, that didn't work. And then you just do that perpetually. And then the next day you're like, that thing that worked, it's not working. Why is it not working? And then you try to figure out something else until you keep building slowly day by day.
A big thing that also is exactly what he's saying is one of my favorite things to train you how to throw far is simple. It just takes effort. You go out to a field and you throw. I say bring about 50 drivers. It doesn't matter what they are. You'll eventually figure out exactly how they fly, and then you'll be able to, each time you throw that one, you'll be able to add the extra special thing to get that disc to go a little bit farther. But throw those one way and then throw them back to where you came from. And this right here is now you're throwing 100 reps and you're getting so much practice in. And almost every single time you throw those discs back towards your bag, you're going to throw it past the bag every time. I almost never didn't throw past where I threw out into the field when I throw it back because you know a little bit more. You have now a little bit better skills.
Also, something that is very helpful if you are just trying to get reps is just ace running a hole. When you just are there and you slowly are gaining information about like, okay, I need to throw it higher. I need to throw it with more turn. I need to just putting in those reps, I think, does a lot more. Like, I'm someone that, like I mentioned earlier, I was like thinking about form and just trying to get the best that I can. Someone like Joe Phillips, co-owner of Another Round, he has never thought about form ever in his life, but he's aware of it. Starting in 2019 when he started recording videos, up until now, he's like, I can't believe the progress that I've made making these videos and how my form has changed. Because he'll look back at videos from 2020 and he's like, this is terrible. He's like, I like cringe watching these. But like he just like got better at doing it.
And he also has a special benefit that most normal people don't. A lot of pros come and hang out with him and they'll be like, hey, if you pop that thing up a little bit, it'll do a little bit better.
That is a good point. That is a good point. But the only reason that that's the case is because he's good at talking to people. And that may be a skill that you struggle with, but just force yourself.
Jesus Christ,
like
sorry.
go talk, hang out with these people, and you'll learn a lot. You won't regret it. You'll be like, why was I afraid?
And we got all the way to this point based off of discs that Chase chooses wrong. Chase Wood, you're choosing the wrong disc. And everybody out there that is in the Chase boat that thinks you can only throw slow speeds, get you a disc that is a high-speed, super flippy disc. Everybody hates a Hades, and I think it's specifically because pros don't like Hades.
Oh,
and you know why pros don't like Hades? Because they throw absolute gas. It's like, imagine you're outside cutting down a tree with an axe, and then a Hades is a chainsaw. But pros can cut down trees with an axe. So you're like, I don't need a chainsaw. I can do what the pros do. You need the chainsaw. Get yourself a chainsaw. It might not be a Hades. I personally like the Hades because it's my disc that I don't have to throw hard, and I can still get it to go pretty far. Go find your Hades.
I mean, Chase, if you put like a DGA sail in your hand, I promise you could throw it far. I mean, you might even be burning it over. Who knows? Even like the Zeus, I feel like pros, like a couple pros will throw Zeus's, but they're just like, oh, it's too flippy. Where like for my arm speed, I'm like, oh, it's just like a perfect do anything kind of neutral-ish distance driver. Yeah,
it's a pretty flat driver. I throw with an insane amount of hyzer. If anybody's ever seen one of my videos of me throwing a backhand, so I throw a Wild Honey as my like buttery perfect, but it also is pretty understable, but it's faster than a Hades. Mm-hmm. So it has a little more fight back out of it. So it'll flip all the way to flat, and then it'll also turn over, and then it'll stand out, and then it'll fade and finish at the end. And that's my bread and butter. And I suggest if you can throw pretty fast, get a Wild Honey. Put it on hyzer, you'll throw a bomb. And most people love a Wild Honey, and it's basically just a notch like faster than a Hades, and people hate a Hades, and it's just because pros hate them. So when pros, you know how many pros know about a Wild Honey? Almost zero. Because they're Clash disc, and all the pros never really thrown a Clash disc. So the Wild Honey is out in this limbo land where pros haven't said they don't like it because it's super flippy.
How many people were talking about a Malta before Ezra Robinson was like, you know what? I like the Malta. And everyone all of a sudden is like, I think I need to throw a Malta again.
This is the perfect example of this. There has been so many Maltas come up in conversations, in content. People have been popping them up. A Malta's a trash disc. I don't care. This is a hill I will die on. It's a bad, like, it's not bad, but it's not like something phenomenal, and it's not made for normal people. It's a pretty, like, it's what professionals want buzzes to be.
Yeah, that's what I was going to describe it as. I'm like, it's like a stable buzz or like a wasp type of disc, and I don't think it's doing anything like crazy. It's
So previously, Discraft used to have a disc called the Drone.
Yeah.
And that's basically what a Malta flies like. It's now if you have a high arm speed and you're an AM because you can't putt worth trash, get you a Malta. Because now you can throw that full power and it'll just finish out left for you, and it'll probably flip up a little bit. But if you're a normal person, just get the Buzz. The Buzz is a really good disc, and a lot of pros throw it because everybody knows that's a decent disc and it doesn't do anything crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
I feel like I've said this multiple times, but caddying for Austin Turner at Maple Hill last year, he's the sole reason why a Buzz ended up in my bag. Watching him, like, he has a pretty flippy one, just hit these angles and watch it slow pan, like, just manipulate it any way that he wanted to. I was like, he was birdieing holes. Like, anyone that knows hole 6 at Maple Hill, is he a lefty? Sure, so that makes that hole a little bit easier, but it's OB on both sides, waters, one of the OB, and just parking it like 3 of the 4 rounds. Just ridiculous shots.
I'm stoked that he brought up Austin Turner and the Buzzes. So, benefit of me making content, I got to make content with Austin Turner and Adam Hammis. They stopped by where I live to play a course that I play all the time, and I get made ace videos and ace run videos on. So they dropped by there, and we go to this course. It's a nothing course. It's just a blast to play. There's not a lot of trees. The holes aren't really that long. Most of the holes are like 250 to 270. So it's really the perfect place for you to ace run some stuff. And so they dropped by, and let me tell you, Adam Hammis is really good at disc golf. He's not super incredible at ace runs. He is good at it. Like, he'll get we'll say 7 out of 10 pretty solid ace runs. Austin Turner is a machine.
It's ridiculous.
I've never seen anybody truly at all, ever, any person ever, that is as consistent as Austin Turner is at throwing a shot in that distance. Literally, we were on a hole that is like 255 feet, and he threw a buzz at this hole. He threw 8 buzzes. Every last one of those 8 buzzes was in an inch of being an ace. Literally, it was crazy. He was an actual machine. One went left, and then he was like, all right. The next one went right. And then his next one went over the top. And then he was like, all right. And then he hits the cage. And then he does this process. He didn't ace the hole, but he was the closest you can be. And the wind was also blowing 25 miles an hour that day. We couldn't have audio because it was so terrible outside.
Amazing.
And this man's throwing buzzes, very neutral disc, in super winds, and he's got it dialed to inches of a basket. So it's incredible. And then he also was the only person that aced that day with a buzz because he is built with Lucifer himself into his body. There's no natural reason he should be that good. He went and sold his soul to the devil, and it's okay. Hey, you got to do what you got to do to win.
Perfect, really, truly perfect for the another round branding. Like, he contributes so well, and that's why you see him in content all the time on the page.
And also, I will say, once he started making his content, he might have been like this already, but I feel like once you start practicing that shot, you get a lot better at throwing shots, especially in that range. Like, so now there's not a person I think on tour that could do better in throwing up shots, as specifically because tour courses, their up shots are usually around 300 feet on most of their holes, or 200 if they're really short. So somewhere between 200 and 300, I don't think there's anybody that can throw a disc better, period.
Well, I mean, some people might say Simon, and I would potentially agree, but I'm not going to take that away from Austin. I've seen him throw. Everyone thinks of AB when they think of like Luna shots or Paul, but I mean, the Luna shots this dude throws. I mean, he'll be throwing them like, obviously not in tournament, but just like over 500 feet, just the most insane shots you've ever seen.
Those are truly insane. And also, I won't throw Simon out of the race. Simon is very good, but he'll have an outlier. One of his shots will not be pristine. And I played 18 holes with Austin, and he literally didn't miss. It was incredible. He didn't ace every single time, but man, you want to talk about putting dimes down next to the basket for ace runs? Crispy every single time.
He has everything. It's just a matter of just figuring out that final piece.
Soon he will be. He almost won MCO. If you didn't know, spoiler right now, he got second place. We're not going to talk about what happened on the end. It was
he tried to, again, spoiler, tried running it. You got it in that situation.
Yeah, it was crazy. Well, this recap has taken well longer than we expected. I said it was going to be like 15 minutes. We're now like probably good 45, maybe an hour. Who knows?
Easily.
But I appreciate y'all watching. This is the end. Shout out to MCO. Shout out to Disc Golf Pro Tour. Shout out to Another Round. They killed it. I enjoyed hanging out there. They also, if y'all know Jake, I'm pretty sure he's the one running Another Round Nashville.
Ryan, as far as I know, but
Okay.
I could be mistaken.
Well, I know
It could be
Jake
Jake
and
and
Ryan
Ryan.
will both be there. So go check them out. They're doing incredible stuff over there. It's an awesome store. And also, if you want to play the Pro Tour course, I think it's in all year round. You can just come to the shop and then go down the street and go play a Pro Tour course. Hopefully, they make it a little bit easier for real people. It is a hard course, and it's a hike. Ask this man. He hiked it every single day this week.
Yeah, I mean, not completely on the first day because it was horrendously hot, but yeah, it was. It's quite the hike for sure. But lots of really good courses around here. Really good shop. Community's been unreal. So I might be coming back to Nashville at some point just to like enjoy with my wife.
Heck yeah. Nathan, tell them your socials, specifically Instagram.
You can find me at Nathan Sajk, SAJK, no spaces on Instagram.
Heck yeah.
I do just dumb, silly content, and from time to time, you'll also see my face over on Another Round, and I edit a good portion of their videos. Austin Turner's videos, do like a bunch of stuff for pros. So, yeah, would love to have you check it out.
See, that's what we love. We want everybody here watching this. Go support Nathan over there at Instagram. And also go check out Another Round. They're doing incredible things, especially with Nathan editing. If you haven't seen Nathan's content, he does incredible stuff. All his videos are absolutely awesome. I love every one of them because they're fun. They're different. There's something that disc golf doesn't really have, a person that does it. So that Nate fills that whole entire catalog of being something that's entertaining and different. And that's what we love, especially here at the Berry Bite Nation. We love different, we love new, and we just love having a good time. And that's all Nathan's about. Y'all already know. Like, subscribe, comment, hit all the things, do all the stuff. Appreciate you watching.